When I was on the street on drugs and borderline naked, a Muslim man found me. This Muslim man picked me up off the floor, carried me to his wife, bathed me, dressed me, fed me, loved me, and took me somewhere that I could be safe. My son goes to a predominantly Muslim nursery. All of the staff are Muslim. Those women would lay down their life to protect my son. They love him like their own. When he is not well or he's poorly, he is absent, they will ring me throughout the day to check in and just say, oh, how's Ollie today? Is he doing okay? Are you doing okay? Cannot fathom the way the world is right now. I cannot fathom the audacity to say that Muslims are not making our country safe. I have never in my life felt so safe or so warm. Muslims are not making this country unsafe. Muslims are wonderful and kind and dignified and compassionate and generous, and they are the pillars of so many communities. Anything you could think of, they provided it for us. And not once did it come with a Quran or an invitation to mosque. It came with kindness, compassion, dignity, love and warmth that some of us had never experienced. Those same men that claim to defend our country and want the best for our country, those sweet old men in their bomber jackets and their punk and their Union Jacks, and I know that's a bit of a generalisation, but if they can do it, so can I. Okay, it is those men that had me locked in a cubicle at my own place of work at a pub on 3 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon because I was so mentally sick of having my bum pinched and my hips touched and my face stroked and strange compliments. And can you get that back at Chris down there? I'm pretty fucking angry that we have the audacity, the absolute audacity, to tell one of the most beautiful, gentle religions that they are violent and a danger to our children. I'm pretty angry. And I think the thing that upsets me the most is that some of you clearly haven't read the Quran. Because, once again, I have never felt unsafe at the hands of a Muslim, but I have felt unsafe at the hands of the likes of you. And I don't think that that's ever going to change.
مسلمة جديدة تتكلم عن نعمة الإسلام وعن تأثير الوضوء والصلاة على أعضاء جسم الإنسان.
I never really understood this before. Once you make the connection between quantum physics and Islam, there's no going back. So if you take a look at our body, we have 3 neural networks. We have the brain, the heart, and the gut. Let's start at the brain. So as you know, the brain is responsible for thinking, learning, and for memory, which is how we make decisions and solve problems. And in order to make the best decisions, we need blood circulation and oxygen, which is why Muslims pray 5 times a day. We pray 5 times a day, not only to get closer to Allah, but to reset our brain. And in order to reset our brain, we need blood flow. That's why those prayers, they're not easy sometimes. And when you're in the prostate position, you're actually enhancing the blood flow to your brain, which is why after prayer, a lot of people find themselves having more clarity. And if it's not more clarity, then it's more peace. Because enhanced blood circulation means that you can concentrate and make better decisions. Now we're moving on to the heart. So the heart is your emotional function. This is where you express feelings of sadness, happiness, empathy, fear, courage. And if the heart does not have positive feelings, then it must be purified, which is super important in Islam. Before we do anything, we need to start off with intention from the heart. Because whatever state your heart is in, it plays an important role on your behavior and your social interactions with others. Like, have you ever been around a depressed person and then you feel depressed after, even though you were perfectly fine? So imagine if you don't purify your heart, what energy is that sending out to others? And that's why charity and doing good deeds is super important in Islam. It's encouraged almost literally every single day. Because when you're doing good by others, you'll only get that good back. Now lastly, the gut. The gut is responsible for our physical actions. Have you ever made plans to go somewhere and your gut feeling tells you not to go? Well, your gut intuition is only as strong as the stuff you feed it. So that's why in Islam, we are not allowed to eat certain things, and we have to eat halal food. I never really understood this before until I searched for a deeper meaning behind it. For those who don't know, we're only allowed to eat animals that didn't suffer in death. Because if that animal was suffering before it died and energy cannot be created or destroyed, we're actually absorbing the pain and suffering from that animal and we're bringing it into our own body. And that's why you see a lot of processed foods and meats. They're often linked to depression and anxiety. And this is just the facts. And that's just like 1% of the connection I made between science and Islam. There is so much more, y'all. Subhanallah.
صانعة محتوى أجنبية اعتنقت الإسلام تتكلم عن تأثير الإسلام على حياتها الشخصية وكيف تغيرت حياتها إلى الأحسن.
I know I'm getting closer to God as a Muslim revert when I start to question and feel guilty about like the normal day-to-day things in my life that are considered haram in Islam. It can even be something as simple as listening to like raunchy hood music, because before Islam that was all I listened to. And now it's so hard to hear a lot of the songs that I used to love and in my old style of music and not want to change the song immediately. Even the way I handle myself and react to situations is changing so much, and I know that's because I'm getting closer to God, because the old me used to be hot-headed and ill-tempered. I swear I used to let everything get the best of me, and it felt like I had no control over my emotions whatsoever. But I kid you not, immediately after I started reading the Quran, something about my mood, something about my perspective and my emotions and the way that I project things, like it completely shifted. I stay in the mindset of nothing is that deep, so I try my hardest to remain cool in pretty much all situations. Obviously I'm human, so sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but I know for a fact all these different changes in my life, the way I'm viewing these different things is a big indicator that I'm getting closer to God as a Muslim, and I freaking love it.